Every time, guys, I start this, the recording skips a beat and then I freeze and I get nervous. Welcome! Happy Thursday! How's everybody doing? We're doing good. Excited to see everybody. Ellie's here. Oop, wrong side. Ellie's here. I'm going to open up the chat. Hi, Kristen. How are you? Oh, I went real high pitched with that. My goodness. Happy Thursday. Angela, long time no see. Oh my goodness, everybody's in here so fast. Hello. Is it Andrea or Andrea? Either way. Hello. Hi, Kathy. Hi, Rocky. You finally made it back, Chris. I'm so happy. Hello, Veronica. Hi, Julie. I'm glad you think I look refreshed because I think I am looking tired, skosh stressed. It's so funny. Buddha, yes, please. Oh, we can go down a road, Sal. I'll get into it in a second. I'm going to finish my happy Thursday. Oh, Scott Solik was oh my goodness, so many wonderful questions. Hold on, let me pop in my happy Thursday. So, a couple things. I, in every way, shape, and form, want to be refreshed and lovely today. But instead, what is happening is I'm headed to Travel Leaders Edge next week in Las Vegas. And then the week after that, I go to Georgia for a week to go to our headquarters. And I have two children and they are home from school and life is crazy because they're in a play and things are happening. And I'm just trying to keep it together. Also have a new employee starting, which is very, very exciting. So thank you. The refreshed means more than you'll ever know. Hi, Melissa. Hi, Debbie. So official hello, Sal. And I love the Huda. And you probably know this because I mentioned that. For those of you who don't know, I lived in New Orleans for a few years, and it stole my heart. It's where I'll retire. It's all. It means everything to me. Really changed my life down there. Scott, so let's talk about Salt Lake. I am derailing for a minute. For those of you, let me do a quick introduction and then I'll go down. For those of you, if this is your first time here, one, let me know in the chat. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for showing up. I wouldn't be able to do this if people didn't show up. So I'm so happy to be spending my Thursday with you all. My name is Laura DeVega. I am the Director of Agency Development at World Via Travel Network. I have been in the business. I'm doing a lot of ums today. Don't love that. But I have been in the business I'm on year 14. I started as a storefront travel advisor, like many of you, worked in that space for a while, worked my way up the chain in that location, then moved on to the wholesale space and worked for GoGo Vacations and their national accounts team. Started in different places there, but that's where I ended up and spent quite a bit of time there. Hello, Diane. Welcome for your first time. Hello, Lillian. I see the group. Welcome to the live for the first time. Spent some time there, worked on the wholesaler side, loved that being in national accounts, worked with many large host agencies, and then started with World VA Travel Network about a year and a half ago. Something that is consistent since day one, since I started, and especially once I got into the wholesaler space, is there just is not nearly enough personal and professional development out there for travel advisors like yourself. So I said, I'd like to start doing that. And World Via is a wonderful organization that said, girl, you do your thing, do what you want to do. So I do this for free every Thursday night to anyone in the travel industry. You do not have to be a part of my host. You are welcome to join us, but it's not a requirement. And we are happy to have you here. And let me go back up to some of the chats here really quick. Oh, and that's Ellie. Ellie is very comfy because Ellie now has a couch. If you've been here in previous weeks, Ellie did not have said couch. So she thinks that is her couch. And respectfully, it is her birthday week. So we're just letting it go. We don't know her exact birthday. So we call it her birthday week. And she is 3. Salt Lake was truly magical, Scott. I didn't get to experience it for the first couple of days, of course, because it was busy. I was at ASTA Travel Advisor Conference, but the weekend I went to the to the Salt Flats, which was truly otherworldly. If you're like me, at first I was like, it's salt, what's the big deal? It felt like I was on Mars. It was one of the coolest things I've ever experienced. Also went to their botanical gardens and their zoo, because they have a really lovely zoo up in the mountains and not a ton of animals. They respect the animals really well, and it was really nice to see. And they had this like light situation where they had all these fixtures up that were lit up. It was very cool. And the last day I spent in Park City, which was incredible and very much my kind of vibe. Highly recommend Park City if anyone is in Utah. Also tried Swig if anyone has not had it before. Highly recommend. When is travel? I have a lot of questions before I get started today. I love this. So Travel Leaders Edge, if you are a Travel Leaders For if you don't know what Travel Leaders is, if you're not part of our, our network or anything like that, it is a consortium that is it's one of the largest consortiums in the world. And Edge is next week, Angela. It is in Vegas. I actually start there on Sunday I do separate from Edge, I do an independent advisors network conference where we get in the room with like-minded individuals like ourselves that are run other host agencies to make sure we have a great space for all of y'all. So that's the first day, and that heads into Edge on Monday. So Lillian, I'm just commend you because I don't know what time it is in Australia, but if I had to guess, you're in the morning. Yes, I think it's morning time. Let me know. Diane, again, thank you for coming for the first time. Kelly, thank you for coming for the first time. Fanta, thank you for coming for the first time. I'm so happy you're here. Oh, I am so grateful that you guys show up, Kristen. So I just want to say that. All right. Hello to Tammy for first time. Funny Edges in Vegas, Starbucks. Really? It's at the same time. Will you be there, Angela? Because we got to talk legendary cocktail party. Anyways, all right, let's get into it. So, all right. So if this is, again, if this is your first time here, let me give you a quick briefing. Like I said, I am a big believer in personal professional development, something I feel very passionately about. I read books about it constantly. I'm absorbing podcasts. I'm absorbing all the things to make myself what I would say bigger, better, best. I think that's just a practice I've gotten habit of. I had a crazy life experience many years ago, and from that moment forward, I wanted to make sure that I was always the best version of myself in my business life and in my personal life. So what I do each week is we get into different topics. It might be about business strategy. It might be goal setting. It might be restructuring for the next year. That's gonna come up soon, half year goals. That's what's probably within a workshop is gonna be focused on in half year, just saying. It might be social media strategy, email strategy, whatever it may be. Tonight is something I feel very passionately about, and I'm very excited to talk about is supplier relations. Because if you don't know, or you weren't just listening, I was on the supplier side for many years of my travel life, and I feel incredibly passionate about having the right relationships with your supplier partners, and that how it is so crucial to being successful in this industry. I can tell you in all the events I have been to recently, and there has been a lot of them, external events, because we are on our, we're in our recruitment run. We're trying to bring people on. I've got to stop saying recruitment. We're working on expansion is what we're looking for, and expanding our team. Every single individual that got up and won an award, one of the first things they said is the reason they got there was because of the relationships they built from day one with their business development managers. So if you take nothing else from today's call, I want you to take that piece. Advisor of the Year, Hall of Famers at Cruise 360. Every single person was like, I am here because of the relationship I built with my business development managers. Doing a little millennial pause there for you to absorb that information. It's crucial. So we're going to get into it. I'm going to tell you what I appreciated when I was on the supplier side, how it can help you, and everything from there forward. Joined World Via 3 months ago, first Thursday ago. Well, welcome, Shannon. Thank you for joining us. I figured it was morning, Lillian. All right. Just so you all know, again, for first timers, or if you're repeating, you just haven't done it yet, I'm going to pop the Facebook group into the chat. What the Facebook group is for you, it's truly just a library source of all past episodes. So if this is your first time, you can go back and watch all the past episodes. They're all posted in there. They're also available on WorldVia's YouTube page, all free to you, no charge, no paywall, no nothing. Go on there, absorb it, educate yourself. A lot of them go in order. So if you want to go back all the way to August of, or no, was it August or July? I don't remember, of last year when I started, feel free to do so, but you don't have to. They can all be watched independently, but you'll notice if you start in the beginning, there's a trend on some of them. Like if I talk about goals, and then I get into habits and I bring up the topics from goals, things like that. Those are all on there. But if you put yourself into the Facebook group, I will ask for, it'll say it needs approval. I approve everybody coming in. So I recognize all the names in here. I will approve you, but it's where you can see where past episodes are. It's also where you see what is upcoming and things to come, because if some of you were here last week, you know there's exciting things coming. And if you are here today, I will tease to you, there is a podcast coming, because I know not everybody can make it live on Thursday nights, but some people like to listen to it on their drive or whatever it may be. I'm incredibly excited about the podcast. Still a working title because I'm timid, those of you know, to do Elevate, because there's a lot of Elevate named podcasts out there, but we'll see. So if you have any names, ideas, please throw them at me. But that is in the works. It should be coming out in the next few weeks. Also, we have a really cool workshop idea coming up for the middle of summer that will be no cost. It'll be a 5-day course where you can immerse yourself in all things and making yourself and your business better. But you will find out about all that in the Facebook group. And lastly, I can't believe I'm at 10 minutes still talking about myself. You guys know this is not who I am. But it's also a place, like I said, to see what episodes are coming up. And it's lastly a place where you guys can just interact if you need to. Lillian, you're a great example. I'm gonna bring you up. She was like, hey, I'm looking to get started. I don't know where to start. What do I do? And people jump in there and they answer, and then I can jump in and answer. So I've seen that happen many times. Sometimes I'm just posting what I'm reading on a Saturday morning. I can tell you what I'm reading right now for those of you that are mildly interested. I am reading a book. Do I have my phone on me to even tell you? Probably not. And I mean, as far as personal and professional development, I do have a crazy tendency where I read books that are, like fun fantasy books. That's where I'm at. But currently I'm listening to a book called Find the Good. It's the unexpected life lessons from a small town obituary writer. It's quite lovely and it's short. So if you're looking for something just to change your perspective on things, it's really, really cool. And another personal development book I am currently listening to is called Thinking Fast and Slow. And it's about the two different parts of your brain. One is your quick reaction and the one is the logical thinking. It's fascinating. That one's a little bit longer, but I digress. So let's get into the presentation. Let me pop it up really quick. Again, for first timers, feel free to interrupt me, ask questions. It makes it so much more enjoyable for me. I like to interact. I am very all over the place in my conversation. You will see I'm going to put the slides up where I kind of sit in front of it. If you can't see the slides, you need a copy, you send me an email. I'm very easy to get a hold of. I am laura@worldvia.com. That's how you can get me via email. Now, I sometimes take a little bit to respond. I will be fully transparent with you always. But that's because I also run a business during the day. Well, not run a business, but help run a business during the day and also have a family and a farm full of animals. Not a real farm, but basically I've got 2 Maine Coons and a dog. So bear with me. All right, let me pop up the presentation. And I'm gonna do that. For those of you who were last week, did we like the newscastery thing where I was in front of it? We're gonna roll with it. I hope I don't block too much when I do this, but I thought this one was kind of fun. You do lose Ellie when I do this, but I think this is kind of fun. Tell me, I'm putting it up. Do we hate it? Do we love it? Well, let me know. I don't know if it loaded yet. I can see it's still a black screen for you guys. There it is. All right. If it's the worst, tell me I'll switch it. All right. So let's get into, we got a thumbs up. I'm calling that as a win. Love it, Scott. Thank you. Okay. So we're getting into what I will say, and I noticed last week, I wish I could do the weathercast of this. I don't know which direction is which. So if I point in one, I have no idea where I'm pointing. So you're welcome. I may do it and I'll just be pointing to the abyss. So building partnerships with tour operators, hotels, and airlines. And we're talking about strengthening your supplier relationships and grow your travel business. I already kind of prefaced with this, but this is crucial. Okay. And I'm not saying this because I was one. I'm not saying this because for anyone, I'm not getting paid around the corner from this. What I'm telling you is when you, I went to the Astor River Cruise Expo this year, and there was a speaker from, I believe, I want to say it was the New York Times or some significant news outlet. And he was speaking about, he's like, listen, AI is a beautiful thing and it's doing incredible things for us. And you all know, if this is not your first time, I'm a big believer in AI. He goes, but what AI can't do is it can't call a supplier partner for a favor when something goes wrong. There's a couple pieces from that. One, that shows who you are and how important you are to the situation, but also the relationship you need with your supplier partners to do these things. Now, I can say from our host agency, now, again, you do not have to be a part of it to be here, and I'm sure yours all feel the same way, but if not, please feel free to ask a question about ours. Relationships is the core of who we are. And that's down to our relationships with our members. That's down to our relationships with our supplier partners and the relationships that we build between our supplier partners and our members. We are always fighting endlessly for proper relationships with our supplier partners. And I can tell you, the supplier partners equally want great relationships with you all. I can't tell you how many times I sat in my seat at when I was working for GoGo Vacations at National Accounts. And so, like I said, I oversaw most of the host agencies. So I had thousands of advisors that I oversaw on a regular basis. And I would sit in front of a room and I would beg them to pay attention to me. I would be like, please reach out to me. I'm here if you need me. And nobody would. I shouldn't say nobody. The ones that did were successful. The ones that did, I was able to take from being only booking once a year to us to being $500,000, $1 million agencies with our supplier alone. So they also had other ones, but they were doing $500,000 to $1 million with our supplier alone, because supplier partners want to build good relationships. Now, I will be honest, and we'll kind of touch base on this as we go through all this. There are some supplier partners that are a little expended post-COVID, right? Host agencies are getting bigger. Supplier partner teams are getting smaller. That happens. That is a creature of the business, and they are all kind of shifting to accommodate to hosts and what we look like and the dynamic of the industry. But the beautiful thing is that they are shifting to us. They're adjusting and building to us. I know I don't want to speak because I don't know if this is out to the public yet, but there is a very large supplier partner that we're working with, that they are building a host team and making adjustments to accommodate to us because they didn't have it before. And it's incredibly encouraging and exciting, because that puts you in a position where you're going to be successful with your business development teams. So let me kind of get into the more, because I'll talk on a tangent, and I know I have slides about it coming up. So, one, what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about connecting with key suppliers, because here's the thing. It takes a little bit of effort on your part to get there. They're not just going to come to you. And especially with the dynamic of the industry currently, they have a lot of people to be reaching out to. So they may not even know where to start. I'm going to talk to you about approaches I took, approaches that I appreciated from the supplier side, to have people kind of reaching out to me and working with me in a way that made sense and that was helpful. It's very tough to sometimes break that ice with suppliers and to try and show your value to them. But I promise you, little pieces will make you memorable and make it easy. Angela, I'm like super shy, and I live right by an Ivy League college, and there's a lot of hotels and stuff, and I don't know how to approach them all. Listen, we'll talk through it. And I get that. Not everybody came into the travel industry because they were an extrovert, or because they wanted to market, or because they were comfortable having these kind of conversations. But there are easy ways you can do this that will feel comfortable. It won't feel forced. You'll feel like you're making some progress, and you won't have to change who you are to do it. And I think that's the biggest piece. Then we're going to talk about, so one, meaningful connections with potential partners. And when I say meaningful, I also want to talk about making sure it makes sense for you and for your business, because you're going to go to events as you build your business, or if you're established, you're going to events, and there are sometimes hundreds of suppliers at the event. And I watch some of you go, I have to get to every single one. No, you do not. No, you do not. I taught a whole session to our host agency last year about approaching oh my goodness, lost the word, a trade show the right way. How do you present yourself at a trade show? Because there is no reason when you go to events you don't need to get everybody in one shot. And also, not every supplier is meant for you. And that means in the manner of relationship wise, and like how you feel working with that supplier, because you might have tried them once, it didn't work out. It might be the product line that they put out. It might not match with your niche. There's a lot of reasons. It also might just be two very similar suppliers and one pays you more. At the end of the day, we all love travel, but we're here to get paid. So things to think about when you're kind of narrowing down which makes sense to be the more meaningful relationship to start building. Okay. We're going to talk about negotiating better terms. Now, this is a little bit of a step in the deep end, especially if you're a little nervous even to start, but things like securing perks, higher commissions. Now, higher commissions is tough when you're with a host, but I'm going to talk through this. Well, don't worry, we'll get there. And value-added benefits. Now, I just want to be clear. I'm talking through higher commissions. With hosts, it operates differently, but some of you are not with a host. Some of you are independent advisors, and I want to make sure I'm talking through experiences for everybody so it's easier. But value-added benefits. There's definitely other perks and things you can get no matter what way you're coming at this. And create win-win collaborations. Develop partnerships that boost your brand and deliver mutual benefits. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, they're only going to help you if it benefits their business. Something, and I'll probably get to this as a slide later, but since I'm here now, I'll talk through it. Something I see consistently, and it's not to anyone's fault, but advisors will go to specific suppliers that they know will give marketing dollars, right, to help out with things. And I get that. You want to go where you know the funds are. But then say you don't sell anything of that product, that supplier is going to be less willing to help you in the future. And if you represent a host agency, they're going to be less willing to want to help other people at the host agency in the future. So when you're deciding who to collaborate with and who you want to partner with, make sure it's someone that you want to sell, that you can sell, that it makes sense to sell, because your relationship people with them could also be benefiting your entire host agency, or it could be negatively hurting your entire host agency. So there's a lot to kind of think about there. And then become a trusted advisor. Put yourself in a position that your go-to expert for your preferred partners, right? And I say this because there are things that different supplier partners have the ability to offer to advisors, or willing to give to advisors because of the relationships that are built. Listen, we just saw that Ovation of the Seas was just cruising. Norwegian has had a cruise ship go out. Things happen. People want to be able to give to, now cruise lines are a different example. They come and go in different ways, but getting to know your business development managers when things come up and you start selling their product, they're going to be more willing to help you and put you on those things. It's also knowing when they have, listen, suppliers will have, say, lunch and learns, dinner events where you can learn from them, right? They're going to invite the people that they know are, what's the word I'm looking for here? Are allegiant to them, right? That that are going to be able to support them and are cheerleaders for their brand. They're going to bring you there to kind of reward you, like, here's a meal, come join us, have some time with us, learn more about it, and then sell more. Again, it has to be mutually beneficial. It has to make sense. So in order to be on their radar, you have to introduce yourself to them. You have to be in their email lists, things like that. Need a sip of water. Okay. I kind of talk through all these. I get too excited and I talk through it because this is one I do feel really passionately about. But why supplier relationships matter? One, better deals. Let's just say it. You have access a lot of times to exclusive offers and improved pricing for your clients. Okay. And that's not necessarily meaning that they're like cutting through any lines to give you something that's not offered to someone else, but you might be the first one to know about a deal. It might only be offered to a certain subset of people. They might be only allowed to offer it to certain people. If you don't have a relationship with your supplier partners to know about these things, you're going to get passed by. And it's not intentional. They've got a lot going on. They need to know about you. They need to know where you're at. And it's also just learning about promotions. Listen, we can scream from the rooftops at our host agency promotions that go on. We put them on our partner portal. We announce them on our all call. Not everyone shows up to that. Not everyone reads their emails. Not everyone shows up there. I mentioned this individual a lot. Anthony, you're on here. Yep. Get to their newsletter. Great point. A lot of supplier partners have newsletters. Make sure you're on their newsletter list. But I talk about an old employee of mine. I'm actually very thankful. I just saw her at saw her in Salt Lake, which was so lovely to see her. And I won't tell you who she is, but she also works for another partner out there, another supplier partner now, and I love her dearly. But she said to me once, she said, "Lori, you have to say it 3 times and say it slowly." I always remember that when I'm trying to get in front of somebody. And actually, there's a fact, and if anyone was on, if any or part of my network and you were on our all call yesterday, Christopher, one of our trade sales and marketing managers, said it takes 7 times for someone to make a decision about something, which is interesting. It's just the amount of times you have to put your information out to people. But I'm a big believer in 3, because we reach out, people still don't see anything. So if you aren't even on their list to get information, you're completely getting bypassed. You're completely getting bypassed. And because we're putting on promos onto our portal, we're sending out emails and people still are missing them. So if you might be more willing though to open things from supplier partners if it comes direct to you. So make sure you're on their mailing lists. Now, I know depending on the host agency or consortium you are with, there are some different rules and regulations about how you work with your supplier partners. Of course, we have to stay within the limits of what they set up, but there's a lot of ways you can work around different things. Increased credibility. So build trust with clients through strong supplier connections. And what this means ultimately is when there is a situation that goes awry, Do you know who to call? Do you have a person to call? And if you do, that's all fine and dandy. But do you have a relationship with that person? Because that's a big piece of this. I can't tell you how many times when I was a supplier partner, I would only hear from people when there were problems. And you help fix those problems, but it really puts a bad taste in your mouth when that's the only time you're reached out to, right? And what I mean by that is you don't need to be checking in on them and their dog and seeing how everybody's doing. But what you do need to do is maybe it's just a quick message. Hey, is there anything that's important I should know about right now if they're not sending newsletters? Or it's just a quick introduction to them. And I'll talk about how to do those introductions when we get a little further along so they know who you are. Keeping top of mind is really important. Again, some of these supplier partners are meeting thousands of advisors constantly. They're overseeing hundreds of different agencies. So making sure you're top of mind with them so that when you do have to call about a problem, they remember you, they know who you are, and they don't think you're just calling it's an issue. Co-marketing. Joint promotions are a big way to get marketing out there in an affordable way. It helps you expand your reach and your visibility. There are some great supplier partners for this. Some are always better than others, of course, but a lot of them will put out marketing dollars to you depending on the sales you put out to them. And some are even willing to put out marketing dollars and assist, even if you haven't put out sales yet, but if you're willing to commit to some sales to them. So again, it's approached differently with every supplier. And also not every supplier has funds to give. I think there was a weird assumption for a bit there where people were like, oh, I can just reach out and they'll pay for this for me. Absolutely not. More often than not, co-marketing is a co-op situation. So you usually pay half and half. And a lot of times they ask that you pay it all up front and they pay you back. So don't assume because those supplier partner is going to help you that you're going to get all that money right out of the start, because it's not how it works, unfortunately. So I'll make sure you're planning in that manner going forward. Okay. Approaching key suppliers. First things first, do not just go into this and start down alphabetical. Like I said, you're not going to meet every supplier at a trade show. Some of your consortium partners or your host agencies have hundreds, if not thousands, of supplier partners they work with. Do not start A to Z. Take a minute, look at what your goals are, look at what your niche is, what niche you're kind of going down the road of. See what you're comfortable selling or what you are selling the crap out of, but you maybe don't have look at she's popping in. Hello, Ellie. But you don't have a relationship with, right? So take a minute, and I'm always a big person on self-evaluation. Look at your book of business if you have one. If you don't, I'll talk through that in a second. Look at the book of business you have so far. What are you selling? What are you selling well? What comes easily to you? What are you making the most money on? Then go, what are the supplier partners in this space that I book the most of? And then it's another self-check of, do I like working with them? Do I want another supplier with comparable product? So you have to do a moment of really checking into if this makes sense. And if it's not making sense, that's a hard thing to do, but it is a necessary evil to be successful. If you are working with a supplier partner that is not supporting you, that is difficult to work with, why? Don't build relationships with them. Use them when it is like a necessity, but find somebody else. There is rarely brands out there that only are not saying it doesn't happen, but that there are supplier brands out there that they're the only person that sells specific things. It happens occasionally, so those are the moments you have to step back in. But do a little research on your own product and have a real conversation with yourself and say, are they treating me well? Am I getting the customer service that makes sense when I call through? When I do have issues, how am I treated? Am I getting paid well? A lot of things to think about here. Then have a little preparation. What do you want your goal to be? Because sometimes people will reach out to supplier partners and just go, what can you do for me? And that supplier partner is going to go, I mean, what do you need from me? That's the preparation you need to have. What are you looking to get out of this relationship? Is it co-op marketing? Is it more education? Because we just don't always want to get things from supplier partners. That's not fair to them. But what are you going to get out of this? Do you have the time? Is this like dedicating, like, hey, can you have some one-on-one training time with me? And do you even offer that? Do you have any upcoming in-person education? or digital that I can take part in? Is it, I want to grow my business with you by X amount, by X percentage. How can you help me plan that out? And in that conversation, if that's your goal, how do I plan a group with your product? Can you help me sell that group? Do you have any offerings to do so? This might be a silly question. Is the BDM we work with always the one listed on Worldview supplier source? Ooh, great question. So I'm going to answer this for the group. If you're not part of my host, it probably is very similarly applied, but if not, so in a host scenario, there are two different versions of your who your BDM is, right? On our partner portal, which is our supplier source that she's mentioning, that is your point of contact. Yes. That being said, some suppliers will also have regional assistants, and that varies per supplier. So some will have your BDM, who is like your main point of contact. And then they might say, oh, this is going to go to your host representation and or your regional representation. I will tell you, not all have regional representation because they're not quite big enough to do so. And like a great example at our host agency, like Royal Caribbean, we have Robin Washington. She's crushes it. She's fabulous. She covers our entire host agency. She's who you reach out to if you have issues. Will that maybe change in the future? I don't know, because Royal Caribbean actually has a support team behind her, so they handle the other more individual tasks, and she handles the more issues in corporate level. So that's how they work. Other ones work very differently. So I don't want to speak to all of them, but if you go to our supplier portal on Supplier Source, who you see there is who you can contact, and they can point you in the right direction if it's not them. So great question, Andrea. Or Andrea. I hate that I don't know your official pronunciation because I know Andreas and I know Andrea, and that will kill my soul. Please be patient with me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. Personalized outreach. Okay. Focus on mutual benefits rather than just pitching your agency. So what I mean by that is when you have taken that self-evaluation moment, right? You've got, okay, this is what I wanted, this is my goals, this is what I want to do. Is this mutually beneficial for everybody involved? Okay. And what are you going to say to this person when they say, oh, can you help me get to this space? Or can you help me sell a group? Sure. Can you commit to this sales amount for me? I know when I worked for GoGo Vacations, I would set sales targets with my individual account members. I'd say, where do we want to hit? And we would check in regularly. Like, what can I do to help you to get there? What can I have these conversations? These conversations are available. Not everyone has the capability to do it, but it is something that can be done. So recently I had a BDM reach out to me from because of my location. He informed me that there was a BDM for Worldview that handles our accounts, but that he would be happy to help me because I'm located in his area. Sal, that is an excellent BDM, and befriend that person. And I will say this for a very specific reason. For those of you that are part of host agencies, this can be very difficult. Sometimes supplier partners do not want to break out regionally. And I will keep my own opinions on this myself, but that is a good BDM that's willing to help regionally. And I do see a lot of people shifting in that direction. And I see Anthony mentioning and Rita confirmed, yeah, Virgin is local, right? So like that is so convenient and for very specific reasons, because if your rep from Virgin Voyages is having a dinner, you're going to get on that email list and you're going to know about it. If they're doing a training in your area, you're going to know about it. If there's events happening locally to you, like Anthony, you knew about the Ovation of Seas because it was local to you, right? Which, Anthony, I cannot believe you played pickleball with Vicky Freed. Can we just have a brief moment? I was so excited for you when I saw that message today. Anthony was just on the Ovation of the Seas on the inaugural and you just post a casual picture with members of Grey's Anatomy and Vicky Freed. No big deal. He's just living his best life. And either pronunciation works. Okay, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I want to compliment it more. I usually go by Andy. Oh, perfect. Then I will go by Andy. Andy, I don't know if you're as jealous as I am of the Vicky Freed and the Grey's Anatomy. I'm probably more jealous of the Grey's Anatomy piece, and not because I don't love Vicky Freed. I was just with her, and she's a lovely, lovely woman. I had dinner with her a few weeks ago, and she is fabulous. Anyways, we've derailed. So yes, if you have people that are willing to work with you regionally, work with your regional representation, because then you're getting, like I said, all the messaging, you're knowing about what's going on, but and also they might be like, hey, I'm in the area for something else. I know Royal Caribbean's very good about doing this. They're like, I'm posting up at Panera Bread for the day if you want to stop by and talk business. Take the invite. I can't tell you how many times I will see our supplier partners do something like that and nobody shows. And it blows my mind because it is free assistance. They're going to tell you what's going on, what they can help you with, what they can do for you. Take advantage of those opportunities. Okay, leveraging existing networks. Use your connections for warm introductions for potential partners. What do I mean by this, right? If you are part of a host agency, leverage your team. If you want to, apparently Anthony is the person to go to for Vicky Free. No, I'm joking. If you want to meet your representation and you're not comfortable, Angela, you said earlier, I'm a little nervous going to people. Now it's tougher for your local representation, like for hotels and things like that. But if you're at a large event, whether you're at Edge, you're at World for if you're part of World via Travel Network, if you're at ASTA and you want to meet somebody, say you want to start selling Regent, but you don't know who or where to start, come up to, if especially if, and whether you are part of World via Travel Network or not, come up to me. Say, hey, Laura, I need some help here. Introduce me. Please, happy to. And who do you need me to introduce you to? Even if I don't know them, because I'm gonna be honest, I know a lot of people in the industry. I don't know everybody. I meet somebody new every day. That's the beautiful thing about this industry. But I'll be happy to introduce you. And that's what I mean by that. Go to your team if you're a part of a host or a consortium and say, hey, can you introduce me to my representation for this? I know we have their email in here, but I would love a formal, introduction so I could have a better relationship building moment with them. An email hurts no one, but it helps a relationship. I will tell you, when I get an email sent over from someone tagged in with someone I know, I am more willing to respond to that message and go, oh, I should pay attention to this. Use what you have. That is what we're here for. That is what your team is there for. And it's the same in other man. If you know somebody, say a great example is like you know somebody from a different cruise line, but they're friendly with somebody else from another supplier partner that isn't even cruises, say, hey, I'm so sorry. I would just love to be introduced to them. Could you help me with this? We are a very friendly industry, and those are the opportunities you have to take to build your network. You have to introduce yourself. You have to take the first step. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. You do not have to be an extrovert. It's just a hello. It's just a hello. So nice. I wanted to meet you. I'm very interested in selling your product. I'd love to set up some time to speak with you. This wasn't when I was supposed to go into this, but I'm going to take this opportunity. The people I remembered the most on every trade show floor is because I have done hundreds of trade shows in my from being a supplier partner to now being on the host side. I have met thousands and thousands of advisors. The ones I remember are the ones that came up to me, introduced themselves to me, said, hey, I'd love to start selling your product. Can you tell me a little bit more about it? And then that individual sent me a follow-up email. Because I will tell you, the souls and hearts are good of every supplier partner out there, but you're meeting so many people. And it's not a next day email, it doesn't have to be. It can be 3 days later. Hey, Laura, I met you at this trade show. It was so lovely to meet you. You explained a few things to me. Thank you so much. I just want to know, I would really love to expand my business with you. I'd love to take some time with you. Whenever the next time is available that we can maybe have a conversation about that, I would really appreciate that. I never forgot those people. Those are the people I kicked back to. Those are the people I was at 100%, of course. When do you want to meet? When do you want to have a conversation? Those were the people that I was setting up monthly trainings with them and their friends. Not because, listen, we're not in a world where there's necessarily store friends as much, where you have tons of advisors. Some of you maybe are established and have your own ICs, but if you don't, you have a network of friends. You can't, or you will have one soon. You're going to build that. I always tell, find your people, right? That this is where you find your people. You get that group of people and you reach out to that rep and say, hey, can you maybe just do a training for me and my peers? We would love to learn more about your product. Those are the people I was like 110%, because every supplier partner is looking for an ROI. They're looking for a return on investment. If you're going to get me in front of 10 advisors that are excited and ready to book, I'm there. I'm there. I don't, won't cost me a penny. I'm there. Email signature with a photo. Great point. I will say, I know not everybody is, everyone's baby ducking their way around and figuring out how to do technology. I get that it's not easy for everyone, but if you're creating email signatures for yourself and you put a photo in it, it is incredibly helpful for the supplier partner and really for yourself. That's why we do it. That's why now I am my own worst enemy. I change my hair too often. Also, changing my hair tomorrow. So you all are prepared. But most people are not like me, and that photo helps put a face to a name, right? Or at least gives you an idea. And I can tell you why. I'm derailing a lot, but I think this is of relevance. I worked with a supplier partner for 8 years, never met this individual in person. I was later with it. My hair will continue to change, Rita. I apologize in advance. It's just who I am. I worked with this supplier partner for probably 8 years. And when I had switched companies from where I was to where I am now, I sent another email. I said, hey, girl, just want to let you know I switched. And she's like, I would never forget you. She's like, I'm not sure if you remember. She's like, of course I remember you. I'm so happy you're here, blah, blah, blah. Smash cut to last April. I'm at Cruise 360 in 2024. And a coworker of mine said, hey, do you want to meet us? We're with some suppliers. We were meeting with Cunard and a few other supplier partners. I said, of course. And I get there, and this individual is not with either of those companies. And I get there and I said, hi, nice to meet you. My name's Laura. And she goes, you know me. I had no idea who this woman was because her photo was not in her signature. I had never seen an image of her. And I was mortified, but also it was a humbling moment. I was like, you are right. I do know you. And we had a good laugh about it, and she will never let me live it down. But that was a prime example of I knew her for years and didn't recognize her in person. Photos help. Okay, let's get to the next slide. I can tell you my next hair color while I'm trying to flip the slide will not be that drastic from where I'm at, but it is different. Any coming up meetups? Rita. Okay, so I'm going to derail to some worldview topics really quickly. For those of you that aren't revealing, I apologize, but if you're near the Vegas area, there's a legendary cocktail party happening on Sunday night. I know it's a little soon. If you are not actually, and then this next one is for anybody. I am going to be at the I lost it for a second. Oh my goodness. I have a lot of things going on in the next few months that are more local to Atlanta and things like this. Oh, I'm so sorry, Rita. If anyone is going to Future Leaders in Travel in Alaska, I am speaking at an event, and I'm going to have a small meetup there. If by chance you'll be there, well, the first unofficial meetup, Angela, is at Future Leaders in Travel in Anchorage, Alaska. I'm anticipating no one to fly to Alaska, but if you happen to be going to the event, I will be speaking there, and I would love to meet up. After that, as far as worldview people, the next meetup that I know is on the books is for Cruise World in Fort Lauderdale in November, but I'm sure other ones will pop up along the way. But all right, back to this. Negotiating value added perks. No, oh, good point. Cruise World. Yes, thank you, Kristen. That was perfectly timed, wasn't it? I'm near Fort Lauderdale to make an effort to go. Kristen comes to every Fort Lauderdale meetup, and it is so endlessly appreciated. Kristen, I don't know if it's gonna be a new location, but what if it's not broke, don't fix it, right? Rita, you're in New Jersey too. Okay, and Angela said that too. Oh, fair enough. I'm close to Jersey. We really should do. All right, I'm taking a mental note of this. Sorry, and I know I'm losing people as I'm talking about this. I'm making a mental note. Erica and I are New Jersey based. We really should just do a Jersey meetup. I'm writing it down. Where's my pen? And this could be even if you're not part of our network. I'm just going to do a Jersey meetup. That pencil is not working, and then I'm going to come back to where we were at. So I don't want to lose this New Jersey meetup. Okay, it's on paper. I'll talk about it with Erica tomorrow. Okay, negotiating value add perks. There's some stuff with SoCal coming up in next year. Anthony, just a heads up. Maybe we'll go down for that. Okay. Oh, we're so excited. Okay. Know your worth. Understand what sales potential you bring to suppliers. I want to say something very clear right here. If you don't have sales currently, I get it. I understand. But know what you're capable of. Know what you could be doing. Know what you could think about it, right? So that this is a harder conversation when you're first starting out, but know what you're anticipating. Talk about what your goals are. So if you don't have anything on the books yet, talk about what you're trying to do. If you do have it on the books and you know it is worth something, you talk about it. Do not be afraid to brag about what you are doing. That is what we want to hear. And don't be intimidated by the number. Don't think that your number is too small or too big. Know that you have no idea what anybody else is working with, and to say, hey, this is where I'm at. This is where I want to get. Can you help me get there? Ask strategically, request amenities, better commissions, priority service. Now, better commissions is tough if you're part of a host agency because odds are you're getting the highest commissions they are to get. It's the perks of being part of a host agency. If you're an independent travel agency owner, that this is an opportunity for you. Now, you have to build your book of business or have to promise you're going to hit a book of business in order to get a higher commission, but you do have some negotiation in there if you're just starting out. So if you want to talk commissions and how to build higher commissions, if you're not part of a host agency, send me an email. Again, Laura@worldvia.com. I'm happy to talk through this with you, and I can tell you what worked for me and how I work with advisors. There is an easy negotiation that can be done there. Part of a host, you're already getting the highest. Don't stress about that. Okay. Request amenities and priority service. Listen, your BDMs and your supplier partners, they're the people that when you have a high priority client going somewhere saying, hey, is there anything that can be done for them? Hey, can we put the wrap on the door? Like things like that, making sure things are taken care of. Oh, look, Ellie's back in. Oh, okay, no. That is what they're for. That is what they're there for. Those are the things I used to love to get. Hey, can you help with this? Yes, I'd love to. What can I do for you? Hey, can I do this? Yeah, of course, I'd love to. That's what they're there for. Think long term. Everybody wants instant reward on what they get back. And I hate to break it to you, we are not in an instant reward industry. People book 6 to 8 months in advance. You don't get paid till after they travel. So you have to always be thinking long term. So when you're approaching these supplier partners, say, hey, my goal for next year is this. I'm building this group for this long to get to that for next year. Or I see this group returning back again year after year. What does this look like for you financially year over year? Always be thinking long-term out of the box, okay? Because we are not in an instant reward industry. We are not selling vacuums. You have to be thinking about what your steps and what your steps are in between, right? So you have to be booking things to get to where you're going. And so don't put all your weight in one supplier, if that makes sense. So make sure you're putting the right relationships out there. Thinking long-term is also thinking what suppliers can get you to where you need to go. If it is one supplier, great, but odds are it's not. Don't think you're going to get this great deal and then you're going to sell. Listen, I cannot tell you how many times I thought I had to fix it to sell my business, to sell a world's amount of business for my agency when I had it. And it didn't go that way. Holding 50 some rooms in a room in Cancun and selling 8. Now, there were times I sold 50 to 100 rooms. Sure, different conversations. But even in being successful, there were times in the beginning where I was like, I can do that. I would put out these big group trips and didn't think it through in my, oh, Ellie's getting sassy. I apologize. Didn't think it through in my first few years. And then what would happen? It didn't sell because I wasn't selling product that was good to my regionality and to my customer base. Once I made all those adjustments, then that was a whole other ballgame. But you have to think through what is long-term. What does this look like for you? Think about it's not sometimes also what we get guilty of. I'm really tangenting. I apologize, but I feel like this is very relevant. We talked about this when we got into niche, right? Sometimes what you love isn't easy to sell. Sometimes what you think you were going to be good at, you're not great at. There is nothing wrong with that. Sometimes you find naturally what you can be excellent at and lean in. So working around that, thinking long-term, thinking about planning your steps out. And now I'm going to take for 5 seconds to go all the way back. When I talk about thinking long-term, go back and watch my goal planning session from the beginning of the year. I'm going to do another one, but it's relevant because I talk about your goal and then your steps to get to your goal and then the daily steps to get to your like kind of stepping stones there, right? I'm losing my terminology right now, but that's all part of this. Okay. Ooh, come on. Go slide. Okay. Creating win-win collaborations. Like I said to you, This needs to be a return on investment for the suppliers as well as yourself. Okay. So when you're doing joint promotions, think co-branded. Don't think, oh, I'm just going to get this information and that's going to be fine. No, Sandals wants their logo on things, right? Different hotels, they want you handing out their brochures, things like that. Think about how you could do this in a respectful way that still sells your business and sells theirs. And talk to the different supplier partners. Some have different rules than others on what is allowed and what is okay to be done and what has been successful in the past. That's the other big piece about this. When you reach out to these supplier partners, when you reach out to your EDM, say, hey, what worked for other people in my position? I'm just starting out. I need help. Tell me what worked to get other people started. And they're going to go, of course, let's talk through it. This is what works for our brand. This is what we've done for other people in the past. If you, in another scenario, know what's worked for you in the past, talk to them about it. Say, hey, this worked for me. How can we blend this together so it makes sense for the both of us? Customized packages. Now, this works more for your tour operators, things like like your CIEs or your collects, Globus, things like that. They can provide customized tours that you can put out. Now, learn from my mistakes. Don't do a group tour if you don't have a group to go on it, because you're not going to sell it all. You're going to sell some of it, but you might not sell it all. If they are social people that you're selling it to, they might sell it for you. But make sure you know what you're getting into with that. But that's when you get into customized packages. But you can also do different kinds of customized packages. This might be a cruise that you're customizing because you're adding in the transportation to and from the port, right? It's just things that aren't available to anyone else. And it's make sure you're tailoring to the client. So this is when you're getting into building out your book of business. Say you inherit a group for someone or you meet a group of people that want to travel somewhere and you're seeing what they want. See how these supplier partners can help you build the space for them, because they can. A lot of times supplier partners offer things that you don't even realize that they can help you with. And you haven't asked the questions or haven't done the trainings or haven't gotten to know your business development manager, you're not going to know about these key pieces. Client education. Help partners educate clients about new destinations and services. Listen, say what you want. Some people, oh, it'll never work for me. Oh, I don't want to do it. Oh, this, that, and that. Consistently, something that never gets old is hosting an event about a destination or a tour, having the tour provider presented it. Now you have to have a good group of people here. So are you close to a golf course? So you have like a golf club that's included in there. Are you parent teacher groups? Church groups, knitting groups. I don't care what it is. Make sure it makes sense. I see I have it all the time at Italian restaurants up in the Northeast. But have a supplier partner come in and educate your clients about the kind of trip you're trying to sell. I see it work successfully a lot of times with Italy trips, group tours in that space. They bring somebody in, they talk about the different kind of tours are available. They sell a ton of those tours. It just, when they have the right person selling it to them, it just makes sense. It just works. So try and educate them. And if you can't get the supplier partner there, work with one that you know has good product that can teach about the product and what needs to be sold to your clients. And then you sell it to them and have that conversation. But again, this takes talking to your BDMs and saying, what products have worked in the past for this? What are products that have successfully worked in this space before? It works really, really well. Okay. So let's get into becoming a go-to. Any ideas on how to get the group to listen pitch? Ooh, read it. Listen. I'm going to tell you something. Another sip of water for that. I wish I had a magic ball to tell you how to get a whole room to pay attention to the pitch. I don't. And why I say that is because I have been in this industry long enough where I have taken advisors on fam trips where one of them was playing Pokemon Go when we were looking at hotel properties. So, and this is when the hotel paid for them to be there. Oh, what are the odds that you just said Pokemon? That is so silly. I kid you not. This advisor, it was me and another one of my coworkers, and he's like, "Oh, I feel bad. I think she's struggling to walk." I said, "No, she's catching Pokemon." He said, "What did you just say?" I said, "She's catching Pokemon." And he's like, "Wait, I am never surprised by what people will do." So, can you get everyone to pay attention? No. And I'm going to tell you something in full honesty. This really falls into the 80-20 rule of things. When you present to 10 people, about two of them are really interested in and are going to pursue it forward. So the bigger the room, the better. 20% of your who you sell to is going to bring in 80% of your business sometimes because they might tell other people and do things. So like just it takes a bit. I will say the more engaging and the more compelling your pitch is, the better. So practice it. I would say make it as interactive as possible. The more you talk at people, the more you lose them. It's just the truth. And listen, I watch how many people come on and off my sessions each week. They're very well attended, but every time I know when I'm losing people. And I listen, I've done this for a long time. So, and I'm not even just pitching anything specific. So don't take it to heart if people aren't paying attention. Don't they were not the best thing is that they were not meant for you. That this was not meant for them. They may have came and took some free appetizers from you, but they were not meant for you. Is the easiest way to think of it. Okay. I would do that when we were not doing the tour. Yeah, listen, I am not judging on the Pokemon Go of things. My husband played for far too long. I played the Harry Potter one. I'll also say that. What I'm going to say is maybe don't do it when we're touring a luxury resort. It's just food for thought. Oh, rest in peace, Harry Potter Go. Anyways, becoming a go-to advisor, build trust, deliver consistently on promises. So this is crucial, right? So when you're talking to these supplier partners and you're like, work with me, I'm going to do all these things for you. I'm going to get all these sales for you, and they give you the money to help you, and they work with you, and then you don't deliver anything. It's not a game ender, but they're going to be timid, like I said. So what I will say to you is not everything is going to win, but show your effort to them. So an example I can say of this, I had this happen to myself. I was the supplier partner in this position, and I went and I presented at an event, and I went with an agency owner, and we didn't sell a darn thing. And listen, that happens. And she was devastated. And I said, listen, to me, this is what it is, but what are we going to do next? And she turned to me and she said, okay, so we can do this again with different individuals. I'm going to get a different subset. I'm going to look at people that could bring in a little bit more cash, maybe a little more focused on what they were at. She went right into planning mode, and I had no problem giving funds to that individual again. I've had similar situations where they went, oh, well, I guess it didn't work out. Thanks for the money. Not really that, but essentially that. And that was noted. This is my moment of honesty for you all. If you think you can get away with that kind of stuff, you cannot. People pay attention. So don't just go looking to supplier partners to give you stuff for free. Not that I think any of you would. I think all of you are lovely and wonderful humans, but just know not everybody is. So build trust, show you're engaged, show you're trying. And what it is too is it's the delivery after. So no, more often than not, nobody's booking in a dinner or an event you're hosting. Say you're showing up at an event. Say, Rocky, a great example. I know you do a lot of events out in public, right? So maybe you get a supplier partner to help you pay for your booth space at one of these events. People odds are not going to book there, right? But it's then having the follow-up after it, right? The emails where you're also including that supplier's information in those emails. It's the follow-up webinar after those things with you're also talking about that supplier's product, because then that supplier knows you are endlessly supporting them. You're not letting it go. You're letting it, you're making sure that their product is out there. That's the return on investment. Because the reality is, for a supplier partner, if we know maybe nobody's booking at that event, but they might leave and go tell somebody they know about something they learned at that event, or when you host a webinar they afterwards as a follow-up, and then people go to that and they catch somebody else that they might tell somebody else, that web is spreading. So we're not stressed about that as long as you're trying. And they don't burn bridges. Some people move around in the industry. Ooh, you have no idea, Anthony. We have a saying, this industry is very cyclical. And many people I worked with for many years, I do not work with anymore, and they all work for different suppliers, and you never know who you're going to need in the future. So don't assume because you don't work with a brand anymore, or maybe they didn't even treat you that good, that you can be rude or blow them off or use them for funds, because then they might work for a different brand that you will need in the future, and you don't want to have to run into have to grovel at their feet. And you brought up a very excellent point there, Anthony. It happens all too well, in the words of Miss Taylor Allison Swift. Uh, but that was a great point. That's also demonstrating trust, showing you care, being a good human. So demonstrate success, showcase bookings and feedback. Oh, guys, I'm running long on time. So if you have, of course, I'm a Swiftie. If you have to jump, I completely understand. And the recording will be on the Facebook group. So address, I'll pop it in the chat one more time in case you have to jump off, because I always want to be mindful of everybody's time. I'm almost done, but if you have to jump, I totally understand. But demonstrate success, showcase bookings and feedback. Don't assume that that supplier partner is going to track down every booking that came from the event you had, because odds are they have no idea who you met at this event. Follow back with them. Even if it's one booking, follow back with them. Hey, I got one booking from this. Hey, I got 5. Hey, I got 25. Hey, I have one, but they're going to send their friends and family. Nothing excited me more than getting those emails. I can't tell you, as a business development manager, sometimes your entire day is reading angry, miserable emails. It's just, this happened, that happened, help me fix it. Even the best companies, it's just a thankless position many times. Send those follow-up emails. Hey, this happened. Hey, I want to show you this happened. Give feedback also. If you have an event, hey, people were there, they would have liked to know more about this. Hey, can I get this different thing in the future? Hey, and this is also not just, for events they help you with. This is when you go to their trainings. Hey, in the future, you talk a little bit more about this? It was really interesting and I didn't get enough information about it. I can't tell you how helpful that information is when we're building presentations, because you don't know what works and doesn't work, especially in an environment like this. If people aren't interacting, we have no idea what's working. So give the feedback. I'm going to email you, Laura. I need a bit of mentoring. Oh, absolutely, Angela, mentor. I might also have something that you might be excited about. So yes, please message me. Develop specialization, create niche expertise. So this all falls into what we talked about earlier, niching down, making sure you're in your niche, making sure you're working with suppliers that are in your niche, and it makes sense. But as you figure out what your niche is, make sure you go to the suppliers that make sense. Don't just become friends with people and lead to people that are friendly. And that stinks. I know. We have some very friendly supplier partners out there because they're salespeople. There are also some lovely people out there. But it's always easiest to befriend the fun, bubbly people. I know, I think I'm one of them, but if they're not selling what you need to be selling, you got to meet somebody else. You got to shake somebody else's hand. You have to get to know other people. It's only going to help you. It's going to feel uncomfortable at first, but have those happy, bubbly people, like myself, introduce you to those people so you can build your book of business. So you're growing your network. And to touch back on what Anthony said, listen, the more people you know, the more this kind of turns around and recircles, the more important it is to know more people. Hearing host agencies and independent. Ooh, yeah, Cillian. So the difference between a host agency and an independent agency is the fact that a host agency will host, it could be anywhere from, a host can start as many as 5 independent advisors underneath it to thousands, right? And some have tens of thousands. And so what that means is a host agent, well, let me start from an independent agency would be something like a storefront agency, or it could be work from home. There's a few advisors that might be employees, or there might be independent contractors where they have the booking credentials and they operate on their own booking credentials. It's their own sales reporting. It's all that. A host agency has their own booking credentials, but all of the independent contractors below them book in through their credentials. And what that does is it provides a really high buying power and supplier relation power behind the amount of sales that are coming through that host agency sales. So what that does is it leads to really incredible relationship building and offering a lot of perks and offering extra educational pieces because of the buying power that's attached to it. There's also something very respectable and incredible about having an independent agency. I had my own and I know it. And they can be part of consortiums, which offer a similar offering to hosts, but maybe not as high of commissions. So that's a big thing. The higher the buying power, the higher the commissions, the higher the promotions and things that are offered out. You have to kind of work your way into that when you're an independent agency, where a host, you get that from the start. So, Lillian, I saw you message me back today, so I'll definitely message you and kind of guide you, because you're in a unique position in Australia, but there are some really great organizations that could help you, especially starting out. The nice thing about a host agency too, it kind of offers a backbone. It gives you free education. It offers you different opportunities that you might not get if you could get, but it's a little harder to get once you're on your own. So, all right, let me just go to the next slide. Okay. Summary and action steps. So that's just leaving. We're headed on the way out here. 1, research potential partners. What I said, do some self-evaluation. See what makes sense. See what makes sense for your business goals. Make contact. Have that first reach out, right? Say hello. Ooh, send the email. Shake the hand. Trade shows are a big place. If you have any industry events that you're going to, make sure you're saying hello. Make sure you go to, listen, at the end of the class, get up, shake a hand, say hello. If you go to a webinar, send an email after. If you go to a trade show, send the email after. Do the things to get a hold of the people. Do the extra step. Because again, they're working with thousands of advisors. That little step from you is going to go a heck of a long way. Negotiate terms. Remember, I talked about perks, commissions, collaborative opportunities, things you can do. Say, hey, I'm here to help. I want to work with you. What can we do to move forward? And nurture your relationships. Takes a little bit of work. It takes hey, I haven't seen anything from your company in a few months. Can you tell me what's new and exciting? Hey, I'd love to get into training from you. Would you send me your next training? That takes a little bit of work on your end. But again, you're putting in the work on your end is going to take you tenfold. That little bit of effort is going to take you a heck of a long way. You have to invest in yourself. You have to take the time to make these choices and build these relationships. Because again, I'm going to circle back to the beginning. What gets you into the place you need to be is having incredible relationships with your supplier partners, because when something goes wrong, you have someone to call. When something's not wrong, you just need help and you want to build your business, you have someone to call. You have friendships, you're building that network, and you're out at events that can introduce you to people. Taking this time and investing in yourself and investing in your business is gonna grow your business in things you never thought possible. We are a relationship-driven industry. These are relationship-driven sales. You have to be willing to say hello. Rita, will there be a live training about email plus by any chance? I did get the passport order. Yes, I think there's actually one coming up. I can look at a little bit. Rita, look up app. See, I think he's App Tuesday. I think is that email plus is coming up. Okay. So this is just a briefing. I was just saying, make sure to share your questions, one with your supplier partners. Don't be afraid to ask them, but also if you just have questions for me, if you wanted to get into this further, want to talk about it one-on-one, I'm happy to do so. Don't forget Laura@worldvia.com, but ask the questions. That's what they're there for. I'm telling you, sometimes it is a thankless job and you're only getting issues and problems. The supplier want questions. They want to be able to help. They want to be able to tell you, point you in the right direction. Exchange experiences, share your own success stories or challenges with partnerships. Make sure they know about it. Make sure they know your wins, your losses. Listen, we need to know. I said it was the worst part, but at the same time, we need to know when things don't go right. We can't fix it if we don't know. So tell us about it. But also, please, please, please tell us about the good things, because we don't hear nearly enough good things. So say when your clients had an incredible time. Say when say if something went wrong and they helped you with it. Make sure you knew to follow back and say how amazing that changed their trip around. That's so important. And learn from others. Gain insight from your peers. Fun. This is so relevant. This came back up again. But find your people. This industry can be incredibly isolating. Find your people. And that is going to take you, again, saying hello at an industry event, finding a group of friends, finding a group of like-minded advisors, finding people in your niche that makes sense. Listen, industry events can be uncomfortable if you don't know anyone. So make a friend. We're all sitting at awkward tables. Nobody knows anybody. Sometimes at those tables, shake a hand, say hello, tell them where you're from. You're going to build a group of people that you didn't even know were possible and are going to open your space up to things that you didn't know you could do for your business. They say that you are the 5 people you spend the most time with, okay? Put yourself around 5 successful advisors. See how your business changes. Just pay attention. I can tell you since I adopted that mindset and keeping myself around successful, growth-minded people, my entire life has changed. And that's not me being cheesy or preaching anything. It's just the truth. Be willing to meet new people, be willing to open up your space, be willing to have these conversations and be honest about what you don't know and what you do know. And then get with these people and get with your supplier partners and build some incredible relationships. And that's all I have for you all this evening. I went a little overstay, not nearly as over as last week. Thank you for all of y'all that stuck around. This is a moment for questions, concerns, sarcastic remarks. I am here for it. Ellie left her sarcastic remark. She left the room. She had someone remove her, but I am here to answer any and all. Know, of course, that you can always email me if you're too afraid to ask questions on here. I get it. That's what I'm here for. If we are at an event in the future, I better, Rocky, I know I'm going to see you in a few days. I better get a big old hug. I'm a hugger. Oh, I'm so glad you like this. I'm very, very happy. I look forward to that New Jersey meetup too, Rita. It's going to happen. If any of you are going to Edge in Vegas next week, you better find me. I'll be wearing a lot of pink. It's kind of my token color at events. I hope to see you there. I will be out and about and at the World Via tables. If they will not be there, I hope to see you at the next event. I'm hopping around a bit. I've got a lot of World Via stuff, so I'll be in Georgia quite a bit over the next few months. But then I'm on Norwegian Aqua in August, if anyone's going on a quest with us. But then the next industry event is Future Leaders in Travel in Anchorage, Alaska. And then we also have Cruise World in Fort Lauderdale in November. We don't have like a directory of World VM members, do we? So no, we do not. Now there's a group, if you were, for those of you that are World Via Travel Network, I'm speaking specifically to you right now. We do have the Facebook groups, but we don't give out that information. That actually is a thing with independent advisor contracts. We can't give out people's info unless they say that they want us to. So you can form your own groups, or if you're part of the group, you can always ask for information, but we don't have like a registered list. Now, if you're going to a World Via event and in the World Via app, you will be able to see who's going to certain things. So if you're registered for that event, you'll see a list of individuals there and get a hold of them there, but we can't do it for everybody. Chris said, I've been using different suppliers based on clients' needs requests. How would you recommend Ooh, that's a great point. So she said, how would you recommend maintaining supplier relationships during those long stretches between bookings? So here's the thing. I didn't need an advisor to be reaching out to me every week to know we had a good relationship. One of the strongest advisor supplier relationships I ever had, and I am still friends with this individual to this day, even though I'm not a supplier anymore. She's one of the sweetest women I've ever dealt with. We would touch base once every 3 months, once every 6 months, sometimes if it wasn't working out. That was once we established her business, right? I will say in the beginning, we were really hot and heavy, meeting all the time. But little check-ins are what's helpful. And I will say, once you establish a relationship with a supplier, it's not all on you. The beginning needs to be, right, to build that conversation, but they should be reaching out to you as well. So, if maybe it's a quick message about a booking every few months or so. Maybe it's a hopping into one of their trainings and sending an email after saying, hey, that was a great training. Thank you so much for that. Can I tell you something that this is mildly separate, but I think is relevant? Something that I will say, if you're part of World Via Travel Network, Joshua Harrell, our Chief Revenue Officer, does that I commend in a way that I can't even tell you, is every time we go see a speaker, every single conference we've been at, I watch him after he sees somebody speak on the stage. He sends them a message in LinkedIn and he says, that was really incredible. I really loved that. Thank you so much. If you start to do things like that when you have the opportunity to, or if it's just watching a training and sending those messages, it'll go such a long way. But you're going to find the kind of the cadence for yourself, Kristen. And to be fair, good, I'm glad you like this. It's going to vary per supplier, right? Because like some of them you have to be more frequently involved with, some not as much, because some they might not have as many people like working with them. So you're going to have a closer relationship. You're going to feel it out on the supplier too, because some supplier partners don't want to be bothered. And that's okay. That's their business. So any other questions, thoughts, concerns? Like I said, sarcastic remarks, I like all of it. Anybody? If not, I will let you all go because I know we are running over. And I hope to see many of you very, very soon. Keep your eyes and ear. Oh, I just realized I'm still sharing my screen. Keep your eye. Oh, perfect, Angela. Let me stop share. Keep your eyes and ears peeled for things about the podcast and about the workshop coming and all the good things to come out of this Elevate. And I just want to thank you all so much again for showing up. I wouldn't get to do this if you guys didn't show up in such a wonderful, powerful way, chatting each week. I'm incredibly grateful. This is one of the highlights of my week. I'm very thankful to do it. It will not be happening next week, of course, because I will be traveling, but we will be back again the following. Ooh, I have to double check on the following week only because we're out of the office isn't running. That doesn't matter, but I'm in Georgia. Might be. It is great catch, Angela. But I will post the next one coming up very, very soon. This is the mirror from Harry Potter. So this was my daughter had a Harry Potter themed bedroom for many, many years, and then she outgrew it because now she's a teenager, and that's totally fine. I'm a millennial mom and I still love Harry Potter, but whatever. And she's like, should I just get rid of this mirror? I was like, to who? To what? No, it stays in my office. So that's where it lives now. There's also this image right here. I'm trying to do this. This is on the Diamond Voyage last year. And this is I can't even talk, Angela, I can't even talk about Tom Felton going on to Broadway. I can't, I'm still too emotional about it. I will be there with bells on for my birthday in January. This is my orchid my daughter got from my Mother's Day gift. I'll just explain what's all behind it. That's a mirror or a rainbow lamp that I should have turned on. I've got a purple couch behind me with usually an Ellie on it. Yeah, anyways, that's what you can't see as this looks very like lovely. I also have a lot of crystals hanging from the windows. You can't see those. I'm a nutter. Anyways, yeah, thanks. It's like a MTV Cribs right now. You're welcome. I'm doing an 80-person destination wedding in Mexico. At Dreams Vallarta. So far, I have not touched base with the suppliers themselves. I 100% suggest that, Kelly. Yes. Even if it's not, so reach out to your BDM for Hide All Inclusive. They're an excellent, excellent brand. I got married at a Dreams 10 to 11 years ago. My BDM was incredibly helpful. And when I was selling travel, I sold a lot of Hyatt All Inclusive. At the time, it was AM Resorts, but they have an excellent team. I don't know if you're with Kelly, are you with World Via Travel Network or are you not? Let me know. Because if you are, I know our representation is Scott Radici and he is excellent. So yes, with World Via. So yes, Scott Radici's great. Say, hey, I have this big group going. Just wanted to let you know. Is there anything, he responds back and forth. But you could also reach out to the hotel directly. But I do, when you have a larger group going, it's always helpful to make sure you have a little bit of a connection there. God forbid anything goes awry. Millennials only understand MTV Cribs. Absolutely. You just took the kids to the Curse Child. So we are just derailing and not talking travel. So if you don't want to be here any longer, I totally understand. But I am a huge Broadway nerd. I live in the Northeast. I've gone to Broadway my entire life. My daughters are in plays. It's like our whole thing. My daughter, a little known fact, all y'all, some of you, I may have mentioned this before, but my daughter auditioned for a performing arts high school and got in, which was really incredible news. Theater is a huge part of our life. But I've seen Harry Potter, the Cursed Child twice, once in the front row. It was post-COVID. They had re-released tickets right after they opened back up over COVID. And my daughter and I got the front row, and it was hands down the most magical play I've ever experienced in my whole life. And I've seen some really, really cool ones, but it is quite magical. And I will go see Tom Felton as Draco. I have to. I have to. I would love to see Hugh Jackman on Radio City. The dates just did not work out for me. I know he had a bunch of them, but it was just I have too much travel going on right now. Would love to see Six. There's so many good ones. Our next adventure is probably going to be Mamma Mia. Because Mamma Mia, if those of you don't know, is coming back to Broadway in the fall, and my daughter is obsessed and has been almost her entire life with Mamma Mia. So I'm a big theater girl. Like we should do a World Via theater trip. I'm just saying. This is food for thought. Look at all the yeses. Yes. Oh my God. I'm writing it next to the New Jersey Meetup Theater Trip. They do Broadway at Sea Theater Trip. What was it? Scott Radici is his last name. He's our representation for Hyatt All Inclusive. I think it's RADISI, maybe. I'm probably not spelling his last name right. It's on the partner portal though. It's on Supplier Source. But yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna let you all go so you can eat your dinners, enjoy your families. Have a lovely weekend. I will not see you next week. I don't know if I'm back the week after. And full transparency. The following week, I go to Georgia to train a new employee for World Via Travel Network. She is going to be our first ever business growth manager, which is incredibly exciting. If you don't know what that is, that's more for our newbies, but more to come on that. So I might not have the time that Thursday, but if not, it'll be the week after. But I just want to thank you all again. I'm just so grateful, and I love spending Thursday nights with you. And I hope I'll see y'all soon. And if not, I'll see you on the next session. So thank you so much, and have a great weekend.